What's up, everyone? Tera Roberts here with 444, and I'm giving you 5 Hail Mary plays for Week 17. These are guys that you can start in Week 17 for big upside swings. They are risky plays, but they are plays that can carry your team to victory. They are your long shot plays to win your league. These are guys that may be on your roster, or maybe you can grab them off waivers as well. With so many injuries across the board, to quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, your team might need one of those strategic plays that gives you that unexpected Hail Mary upside. So this is your last chance to heave it into the end zone. Before we get started, remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and if you want more fantasy insights and tips, head over to 444.com/plans and sign up for a subscription today. And exclusively for our YouTube audience, use promo code YouTube at checkout to save 25%. Now let's go ahead and dive right in. The first one is Joe Flacco versus the Jets. Joe Flacco burst onto the 2023 scene in Week 13 and has had 17.2, 21.3, 19.9, and 26.8 fantasy point performances. His worst finish was QB 13. That was in his first start of the season. And that 26.8 game was an overall QB1 performance. But that was against Houston, and this week is against the New York Jets. Not a single quarterback has thrown for over 300 yards against the Jets, but Flacco has been a high-volume passer. The only time that Flacco has thrown for less than 300 yards was his first start, and in that start he had 254. He's a high-volume passer. Flacco has averaged nearly 10 fantasy points higher than the Jets have allowed to opposing quarterbacks. And while he has definitely had some easier matchups, he showcased extreme volume in what has to be one of the most difficult defensive matchups since the NFL trade deadline, the Chicago Bears. Since their midseason trade for Montez Sweat, the Bears have been virtually identical to the Jets in terms of fantasy points allowed to opposing quarterbacks. And this last piece is not really analytical, but we know that it does factor in. This is a revenge game. When things were heading south for the Jets after Aaron Rodgers, a very logical next step would have been to, call up Joe Flacco and sign him. They didn't sign him. And now the Jets are in shambles and Flacco is making a playoff push. This revenge game narrative here is very strong. Again, this is a risky move, but we have another top 10 potential week here for Flacco. He is a glorious Hail Mary play. Moving on to the next player, it is Rashid Shaheed. When you think of Hail Mary plays, you think of a quarterback heaving the ball 50 yards downfield, and that is the pure embodiment of Rashid Shaheed. He is literally a Hail Mary receiver. Rashid Shaheed has a lofty ADOT of 14.88, 77.85 air yards per game, with just a 3.2 average targets per game. If that doesn't scream Hail Mary, I don't know what does. And this week, the Saints play Tampa Bay. The Bucs have played a couple of teams that are going through some issues over the past couple of weeks, Jacksonville and Green Bay. But even then the Bucs still gave up big yardage plays to guys like Calvin Ridley and Dontavian Wicks. Let's also pull up some very notable, explosive offensive performances that have come against the Bucs this season. Drake London's 29 fantasy point performance. Brandon Ayuk had a 150-yard game against them. The shellacking by CJ Stroud and the entire Texans receiving corps. Even Gabe Davis, another traditional Hail Mary player. I could go on and on and on. This is the ideal matchup for Rashid Shaheed. He is literally the Hail Mary play this week. Moving on to another player, Wan'Dale Robinson. Let's go even deeper for this Hail Mary play at wide receiver. This is the Hail Maryest Hail Mary plays of all in Wan'Dale Robinson. Despite the layup matchup last week, the Giants ended up switching quarterbacks halfway through the game, and they just didn't really have any offensive flow. But the Giants have officially named Tyrod Taylor the starter for this week, and this could produce some interesting upside for Robinson. Tyrod actually did start 2 games earlier in the season, and Robinson in one of those games caught all 8 of his targets for 62 yards. It is the tiniest sample size of 2 games, so technically it's like a 50% hit rate, but hey, a 50-50 play for a Hail Mary is not too shabby. And here are some other positive notes. Robinson's snap count has been consistently above 70% for the past 4 games. And in those games, he has had 5, 7, 4, and 7 targets. He's being used in less of a gimmicky fashion. He's being used more like an actual wide receiver 1. And this week, he gets another excellent matchup in the LA Rams. It is a very pass-friendly matchup, and the Giants will definitely be chasing points. This is definitely a play that leans more in deeper leagues, but I do like Robinson's odds to hit this week. Let's do a running back Hail Mary play. A running back deck Hail Mary play is difficult to find, clearly, but I found an extreme Hail Mary play for you in Kenneth Gainwell. The Cardinals face the Eagles this week, and you cannot ask for a better matchup for opposing running backs. Week after week after week, the Cardinals' defense is absolutely lit up on the ground. Khalil Herbert just had 112 yards and a touchdown after months of irrelevancy. Obviously, Christian McCaffrey will thrive in any matchup, but he has scored a combined 90 fantasy points in 2 games against the Cardinals. That is absurd. And the most key statistic on why I am recommending Kenneth Gainwell: Arizona's Week 12 matchup against the Rams. Clearly, Kyron Williams absolutely went off for over 200 total yards and 2 touchdowns. But you know who else had a fine day? Royce Freeman. Royce Freeman had 13 carries for 77 yards and a touchdown against the Cardinals. A backup running back can absolutely be relevant in this matchup. And the key to Kenneth Gainwell's potential success here is that the game doesn't have to get out of hand for him to be relevant. Gainwell is fairly involved in the Eagles' offense in any game script, and over the past 4 weeks, he has seen a minimum of 40% of snaps in each game. He's still playing second fiddle to DeAndre Swift, who I really do like this week, but the opportunity is there, and that is what you're looking for in a Hail Mary running back. If you follow my videos, you might remember this next Hail Mary player was a frequent flyer on my players to cut list. If you're truly in a desperate spot here, the truest Hail Mary play of the week could be Jeudy. I know. This takes courage. This is not for the faint of heart, but let's walk through why Jeudy could be your Hail Mary play for week 17. Reason number 1, very simple. Courtland Sutton is in concussion protocol. If he's out, Jeudy is technically the wide receiver 1. Reason number 2, the Broncos face the Chargers. These 2 teams last played in week 14, and Jeudy had just 2 catches for 16 yards, but the Chargers have fallen into complete disarray as the entire team is struggling since then. This is an excellent matchup. But reason number 3 is the real kicker here. Sean Payton actually spoke out recently regarding Jeudy and defended him. Said there were multiple plays where you could see Russell Wilson just flat out missing Jeudy when he's open. And that is critical because Russ is not the starter this week. Jarrett Stidham is starting. Maybe we really just do see Jeudy targeted more with Russell Wilson out. It is a Hail Mary play. That wraps things up. Thank you for watching this video. Be sure to like the video, subscribe, and comment below. And if you want more fantasy insights and tips, head over to 444.com/plans and sign up for a subscription today. And exclusively for our YouTube audience, use promo code YouTube at checkout to save 25%.